Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Comic Book Lowdown. I'm Wellington, and today I'm going to be reviewing this trade, Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine. This is actually Volume 2. I picked this up at the library, so it's in pretty bad condition, but none of the pages were missing, so I guess that's good for my reading. But anyways, there's three stories, or three different arcs in this, and the first... Well, actually, just the first story is written by Chris Claremont and penciled by John Buscema. And then the next story arc is pretty long. Actually, it's called Black Shadow and White Shadow, or Black Shadow, White Shadow, and that's written by Marv Wolfman, and the artist on it is John Buscema. And the last story arc is Life's End, and the writer and penciler is Eric Larson, and it's inked by Buscema. No, it's not inked by Buscema. It's inked by Joe Rubinstein. So they're the writers and the artist on this. And my overall experience with this book is that I really liked it. I really like. This is really my first introduction to Wolverine stories. Just him on his own type of stories. That from his own book, because I'd never really read Wolverine before, and from what I've read here, I really liked it. I had picked up two older Wolverine comics from, I think it was from the 80s, a while ago, and I didn't know at the time that all the Wolverine stories come with 3 stories after, and all I wanted was the Wolverine stories, so I didn't really have a good experience with those. But this just focuses on the Wolverine stories, and all 3 stories in this were pretty good. The Chris Claremont story was just a short little one thing, explaining, pretty much giving you the map out for what's going to come to next with the Marv Wolfman Black Shadow, White Shadow story. But that one is really good, by Marv Wolfman, and it covers a lot of issues here. It covers... let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It covers 9. See, you got on the back. All of these covers the first 9 on here, and the Claremont story is not actually labeled back here. But so the first 9 stories are all one story arc, and then the last 3 are Eric Larson stories, and they're featuring Spider-Man. So I guess it ties in with all this Spider-Man craze that I've been going through, and all the Spider-Man craze that's been going on now, with issue 700 coming out tomorrow. But anyways, I really loved just the story in this. Wolverine is a pretty cool character, besides the fact that I know everybody loves Wolverine for, his claws, his healing power, the bub, and all that kind of stuff, where he's just really cool character in that sense, but he's got a lot of story to him that without the story he's just a fighting machine. And once you put a story and a personality to him, and you put it in as well as the 3 writers on here did, you got a couple of really good stories. So anyways, I'll give you a little rundown on the 2 story arcs. The Black Shadow, White Shadow story arc. Wolverine is in China, and he's helping out these, just a couple of people that, there's this shadow that came around and it pretty much vaporized an entire town and killed a bunch of people, and Wolverine has an interest in it because he was gonna do some kind of favor for somebody who then got killed by the shadow, and so this shadow just appears randomly places and just vaporizes entire towns. And then sometimes a white shadow also appears and fights the black shadow, and nobody can ever stop it. And every time Wolverine tries to stop it, he'll stick his claws through it, and then he just freezes. Literally freezes, like his arm becomes ice type of freeze. And so he really cannot stop the shadow. but that doesn't stop him from trying either. I'll show you a couple pages of him being frozen. If I can find him here. You know, right there you see a little bit of ice all over him. Right there. And the art in this is really great as well. Buscema did a really good job in drawing the art, drawing Wolverine pretty dynamically. This whole black shadow, white shadow thing is pretty cool because, you know, it's just a simple thing that you just make up on the way, and they don't have to come back. They're not going to be recurring characters, but it's just a good way to make up good stories that are compelling, and you can put a lot of story behind it. Here's another. See how his arm always freezes. But it turns out that the maker of these two shadows are this big guy, and he's a mutant, and he's schizophrenic, so he has two personalities in him, and the personalities, there's a evil personality and a good personality, and the evil one's the black shadow, the good one is the white shadow, and they just literally come out of him like that. They just shoot out of his chest, and then they fight, and they pretty much are, they're all the same person, and they say that the only way to stop them is to destroy them. So essentially he has to kill himself to do it, but it's just a whole big thing, and then the ending is pretty well done. You see right here, just Wolverine's absolutely frozen, just completely. Anyway, so I was just gonna do a small rundown on that story. It was pretty much longer than a small rundown. But the Spider-Man story arc is pretty good too. It only covers 3 issues. It's very short. All these stories are very short because, like I said, Wolverine stories have 3 stories afterwards. So the Wolverine part is just little short snippets. It's almost like strips, comic strips, because they just feel so short. But anyways, the Spider-Man arc, Spider-Man pretty much thinks that Wolverine is dead, and so does everybody else, and then he sees Wolverine, and it's just this whole big thing, and Spider-Man's pretty much, he's very stressed out. You know, Eric Larson, writing Spider-Man at this time, he's got all these emotions that he writes into Spider-Man right now, into Peter Parker, and all these things are just tying together, and it's really crazy. This string of people that affect Peter Parker's life are also affecting Spider-Man's life, his life fighting crime, and it's really weird how things play out. But him and Wolverine, they fight a little bit, and they end up teaming up a little bit later, because they're looking for a kidnapped girl, and she's in a warehouse, and they have to fight this gang of evil mutants from holding the little girl and her father hostage. And it's a pretty epic fight. There's a lot going on in it, and just a really good story. It's really short, but it's really good. I'm not gonna give away everything in these. I would recommend picking this up, as well as picking up the other volumes. It looks like here there might be, well, I think there might be 3 or 4 volumes of this. I'm not sure. But this is the 2nd volume, so I do want to see if I can get the 1st volume. And, yeah, so that's my review on Wolverine. Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine Volume 2. I'm Wellington signing off with the Comic Book Lowdown. Merry Christmas to everybody, or Happy Holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. And I'll see you guys next time.